Hola everyone, my name is Melissa Miranda and I am super excited to be here with you. So I want to share something with you. So this past week, I've been interacting with a lot of people, and a theme that has been coming up really strongly has been forgiveness. And I've even found that in my own life. And so I don't know, maybe you're feeling the same, but there's things that have been bothering you, things that you feel that's been holding you back. And now you find yourself in a place where you're like, I need to let this go. I need to figure out a way how to release this and how to move on. And I'm here to tell you that maybe it's some forgiveness that is needed to occur for you. And it's not this woo woo la la kind of thing that I want to share with you around forgiveness. I want to give you the truth about forgiveness, right? And so many gurus and spiritual teachers and religious factors, everyone, business coaches, anyone who you connect with, they all talk about this notion of forgiveness, but no one really understands how a person actually forgives and what it takes and what it looks like on the other side of forgiveness. And so forgiveness is actually allowing yourself to be free. Okay? Forgiveness is not about being a good person, and that's what good people do. Forgiveness is not about making other people around you comfortable, right? Even though these are noble, nice things to do, it isn't what's gonna cause your upset, your anger, whatever it is that you have that you feel that maybe even is unforgivable, but you want to forgive it. You want to. It's because your soul is calling you for freedom. Your soul is calling for freedom. And this is a moment where if we can acknowledge forgiveness isn't about the other people, it isn't about anyone but you. And when we can honor that, that gives us so much strength in who we actually are and what we can do in this world. So, getting clear around why you want to forgive is super important. And honestly, if you have reasons that are not of you, meaning I want to forgive because I don't want someone to see me this way, or I want to forgive because, like I said before, it is the right thing to do. Good people forgive. And let me tell you something. It's great and all to have those feelings and wanting to be a good person, but that does not give you value. And so the part that gives us strength is being able to see, I want to forgive because I want to set myself free. I want to break myself from these chains. I want to break myself from this burden. I want to no longer be that character in that experience. No longer want to be that. I want to be authentically me. Whatever has happened is not who I am. It does not define me in any way. It is an experience, right? And so that's one level of getting yourself to acknowledging I am worthy of this forgiveness for myself, right? And there are things that we experience in life that some of us say they are unforgivable, okay? And I'm here to tell you that if you hold on to that, you are holding on to it. If you truly are thinking, well, I can't forgive this because it is unforgivable, then the only person you are holding back is you. And you're holding yourself back from experiencing the world in a very free way. And I wanted to just really get that clear out there because sometimes we don't recognize the cost of holding on to being this version or being resentful or being bitter or things along those lines. And let me tell you, all of that stuff is not of the light. right? The light within us always wants us to be our full authentic self. And anything that's standing in the way of that, like having bitterness or unforgiveness in our heart, is not allowing us to be our most authentic self. So it's time for us to start moving forward and seeing the bigger picture for ourselves, not for anyone else, but for ourselves. And in that, it benefits others as well. Because when we're our best self, guess what? We are a magnet to the most amazing things in the world. Okay? So when we are able to get to a point of recognizing what are all the factors within forgiveness. So forgiveness and setting ourselves free is, let's say you went through something really terrible, right? And it has caused you emotional pain, a psychological pain. You might even have physical evidence of it on your body, right? But however you want to set yourself free, start off with allowing yourself to acknowledge everything that went down, everything about the situation as factual. Allow that to happen. Allow yourself to see that if you hold on to it, you are still connected to the incident or persons involved. Okay? So when we get to that place where we can forgive, it feels something like this. And you may want to repeat something like this to help yourself. I know what happened wasn't okay. Right? And you can start off there. I know what happened between us or whatever incident it is, right, wasn't okay. But I also know that that isn't who you completely are. And I am no longer going to hold us connected and bounded together by that incident. And I'm setting myself free. And I'm letting you know that the healing comes from within me. I don't need anything from you. I'm just setting us free, right? It could be things along those lines. It's starting yourself off on recognizing, you pointing out the truth. What happened is not okay, right? However, this isn't all you are, right? Because if you really go back in time, there may be things that you've done, right? Maybe not to the same degree. We're not talking about degrees here. We're just talking about human behavior, how we are. And this is about you freeing yourself, okay? And I've had a lot of pushback with this when I work with people. But when they get to the point to realize, wait, if I keep holding that, well, if I forgive them, it's not about forgiving them, right? It's not about the other person at all, or other persons or situations at all. It isn't. It is about your freedom. And a great way to bring forth our freedom is using our words in our authority here on this earth to declare that we are no longer bounded to the situation or no longer bounded to the people who have harmed us. Okay? So it isn't okay. But I also recognize this isn't all you are. I'm no longer binding myself to you. I don't need you to heal. I just need myself to heal. And when you get to this point and you really feel it and mean it, I'm not saying it in a way like you just say it. No, there's a feeling that comes with this. When you finally feel that sense, I don't need you to heal. I don't need anything from you. I just need me. There's a moment that you feel this sense of release come out of you. And then right after that release, then there is this realization and you want to hold on and you're like, wait, now that I'm no longer holding this, who am I? And for some of us, that could be a scary place, meaning Not that we are afraid of ourselves, but it's unfamiliar. Some of us have been holding on to unforgiveness for years, decades. And when we finally let this go, and we're like, wow, who is this person? See, I know when I started to work on my own healing, like, I don't know if some of you may know, some of you don't. Last year, I went through a lot, and I started to recall some childhood memories that I had no recollection of until last year. And and I had to face a lot of things around people who have caused me harm and who had shaped the way I was navigating this world, with me not even recognizing that that had happened, and then coming to terms with understanding I completely suppressed that so well that it wasn't until I was 34 that I actually started to remember. And these incidences started really, really young in my life, right? And so when I started to really feel and understand, wow, this person did this to me, wow, this person did this to me, I was really confused because in everyone else's eyes, these people were really awesome people, yet they had this part of themselves, and it was very confusing, and when I finally started to accept it, and then I started to, at first I went to the stage, well, I'm going to let this go. It's the right thing to do. And let me tell you, it helped for a little while, that piece of, well, it's the right thing to do, to let go, move on. That happened a long time ago. But then it started to creep back up, because anything you don't really let go of, it floats to the surface over time. And that's exactly what happened with my memories. Eventually, all that suppressed memories started to come up to the surface, because it is a part of what's happening inside. It has been dictating how I was navigating in friendships, in relationships, in all different types of partnerships in my life, right? And so once I got to the point of recognizing, okay, the right thing to do is to heal. That worked for a little while, and then it still kind of started to come back up. And then I realized, wait, what is it that it really takes to do healing? Like, what is that, right? Because I could say it and say it and say it, and wanting to be a good person is good, but it wasn't enough. And it wasn't until I got to the place where I got so tired of feeling it in my body, having it occupy my mind, having it darken my heart, right? That I got so fed up with that I got to that point where I realized I want freedom. I want freedom from this. And so I'm really going to work on this forgiveness. And then that led me on the journey of facing all of the things that was happening. And not only did I face everything that was happening, I started to really feel it leaving my body, right? I am very sensitive to energy. So I feel things, I hold things in my system, in my body. And a lot of us do. I'm not the only person in the world. Most of us do carry this in our body. And so as I started releasing this and working through and realizing, hey, what you did was not okay. Okay? What you did was not okay, but I also understand that that isn't all that you are. And I am no longer going to keep myself bounded in chain to you. I'm no longer going to be stuck to this story. As much as it has helped me grow, as much as it has helped me learn, as much as it has given me an excuse to be, this strong woman, right? And like no one mess with me, right? Kind of feel. I'm letting all of that go because my truest nature wants to just be free and experience life, not to hold on, right? So I let us go. I unbound us from carrying out this situation again and again and again. I don't need you to heal. I only need myself. And that is a very freeing moment. When that happened, I found myself realizing I don't know everything or all that I am, all my potential, because I had been holding on to being that version for such a long time without even knowing. And so once you release and you really get to that place of like, I don't need you to heal, I am freeing myself up. I'm no longer holding us chained together. What you did isn't okay, but I am not going to sit here and hold us on this. Because as I continue, oh, that's not okay, and I hold on to that is not okay, it gives me justification to be the victim. It gives me the justification to really be a person who isn't fully myself. And then once once you're able to recognize that you're not being yourself, if you're holding on to unforgiveness, I promise you, you are not being your complete light. Okay? And I'm not saying there isn't any benefits to holding on to things. Like, let me tell you, it has brought me on a journey to learning about trauma. It has really allowed me to work on my relationships with my family now. Like, it has allowed, all of these experiences have allowed me to move forward. But I no longer need to be bounded by it any longer, right? And so now I can say, right, with you here, and it's not a perfect journey. I'm not a perfect being to say, but I am doing all that I can to be my highest self, right? My highest self. And once you get, so let me backtrack a little bit. Once you get to that level where you like, okay, I don't need you for the healing. I unbound us. I am letting us go from this burden, from this situation. I am claiming my freedom. What you did wasn't okay, but I am free. I'm no longer a victim of that, right? You get to a point where you do feel this release. And when you feel this release, it's amazing, okay? But then also what comes after that is this feeling of, who am I now? And that place could be a little bit scary, right? Because for some of us, it has really been a long time. It has been years and decades, right? Where now we have to relearn ourselves, relearn our interests, relearn our passions. But that is so worth it. And you reintroduce yourself to yourself. I know when I got to that place, at first I was a little bit afraid. Wow, I don't know myself anymore. But then something beautiful started to happen. I started to actually be myself without thinking. I started to just be who I naturally am, and that version of myself just started to naturally unfold. This version of myself I hadn't seen in years, and it makes me emotional because, and it should make you emotional to relive and rebuild and refine yourself once you really let that freedom. Because what it is doing when you get to that place, and I want this for you, this is why I'm sharing it, and I hope it's coming off across well, because this is not scripted. This is me explaining it as I remember how it felt. Okay, this is not a scripted thing. I just naming it as I felt it. And when I got to that place, I'm like, wow, I haven't seen this version of Melissa in a really long time. And I love her. She's amazing. She's the light of me. And I want that for you. I want you to let yourself free, right? And it takes courage, okay? It sometimes is easier to hold on to that resentment because it gives us something that we're familiar with. Whether even if it's not good, it gives us something we're familiar with. But when we can move past that and realize it is not that familiarity, tongue twister, is not worth me not knowing me. Me not knowing the depth of who I am. Me not knowing the potential of who I am. Me not interacting with the people who deserve to know me the way that I am. And so this is like really vulnerable stuff that I feel that some people may not understand. But if you follow through and you actually get yourself there, you actually get yourself to that point where you say, enough is enough. I am so tired. My body's tired. My mind is tired. My heart is tired. My soul is tired of holding on to this chain. And I finally want to be free. When you get there and you finally get to that place, I promise you, it is worth the journey. It isn't an easy one. And there's things that you have to really learn to let go. Because some things that we have endured in our life are so really horrible. And I am sorry from my heart to yours that you experienced anything that was horrible. But I want to let you know that you are so worthy of taking the leap and releasing yourself and experiencing true freedom so that you can be you and so that you can experience the world as being the version you have you were always meant to be. And so that you can interact with people in the way that you are meant to be, right? And your meant to be and my meant to be is going to look very different, my friend. But it's time that we own it. And we no longer let ourselves be attached to that story. So I hope that this was helpful. And if you want someone to talk to, I'm here. I'll have a link to my calendar below. I have free complimentary sessions happening right now. And I would love to support you on this journey. Even if you just need someone to just talk to about it right now. And to get you onto that next track. Because it isn't easy facing it all on your own. And just like anyone else, sometimes we all need help. And I'm here to support you in any way that I can. So I'll have the link below this video. Let's break out of these chains. Let's be free. Okay, I envision that for you. I pray for you on that. I release us from holding on to the burdens of the past. And I really do hope that this video touches your heart. And if you come across this video and you find that there's someone in your life that may benefit from listening to this, please forward it over. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you want to know more about what's going on with Miracles Within Us, you can subscribe to my newsletter on my website at miracleswithinus.com. That information will be below. And until the next time, I love you unconditionally. Many blessings. Have a blessed day.